Not that. It was a different piece.
Sure.
This one.
Oh, yeah,
But do you want one?
I want to share with
Hey, Rob, can you hear me? Yeah, unmute your phone. I think I got you on mute.
Hey, I got Daddy.
I'm unmuted now.
Okay,
I
cool.
was told that to you the other night.
What's up, guys? This is your boy James, aka 68J, with Crypto Flag, coming to you live on this Sunday. I got a special guest, guys. I'm super excited. I'm going to bring him right in. This guy is not only is he a model, a TV and movie actor, but he's also considered one of the sexiest men alive.
No, I literally
This guy is every major movie star, everything that you've ever seen, guys. He's still very active. We're going to be interviewing him live right now, guys. So let's bring him in, my man, Robert Ri'chard.
Relationships that you know what I'm saying? The people that I was attracted to.
Hi guys, how you guys doing? What's going on? Fucking good morning, James. We've been friends for years. I love our time together.
Yes,
I'm glad
sir.
that we're here on air right now. It's good to talk to each other.
Man, I am so excited, my man. I tell you what, it's just crazy when I think about, I was actually thinking about this morning. I said 22 years, and the only reason I remember is 22 years. I believe you were a teenager back then, right? And this is in 2001.
Hooper.
Yeah, I mean, but here's what's so funny, Robert. You know, back when we met, a lot of people think that you guys are just actors. And I remember Coolio pulling me aside and saying, no, these guys can really ball. Like, you guys really do this. So what I want to do is just talk about just what you got going right now. You know, how'd you get into the acting game, modeling game? And just before we actually do that, I wanted to remind you of a crazy story that I think I might have shared with you. But it was after we actually connected. And we did the celebrity games, and you know, we hung out and all that good stuff. And then I remember one time I was in LA with a friend, and I went to go watch a movie. It had nothing to do with, you know, being around celebrities and everything. We went to go watch a movie.
No,
and I'm sitting there, and someone's hitting me right there in the preview. Somebody's hitting me in the back of the head with popcorn. And I'm like, did everybody not see that I'm 6'8"? I walked in the damn theater, I'm 6'8", I'm a big dude. Like, who the hell is throwing popcorn? Somebody's got to be real bold. So they hit me in the head with popcorn. I look back and I say, hey, who the hell threw that popcorn? And I said, do it again and watch what happens. So I turn around, and the previews are getting ready, the movie's getting ready to start, and someone just throws a bunch of popcorn, hits me in the back of the head with even more popcorn. I'm like, holy crap, what the hell is going on? So I get up, I walk up the stairs, and I am pissed. I mean, I'm ready to get down, and I look up, and everyone's looking at this guy with the white hoodie on, just sitting there cracking up, and it was you, and you just started laughing. I said, oh my God, dude, you're so crazy.
Teamwork makes the dream work, man. All day long.
Oh, man.
James, I love you, man. Listen, you've always been like a good person, a leader. And, you know, I just think that it's great to have the bond that we have and to see how much you've grown and how you've been God first and family first. And like, you also still have a great sense of humor. And I love that.
Absolutely, man. And I appreciate you. And I'm just amazed and so proud of you. That you just haven't stopped. I mean, I know we talked here not too long ago, and you were talking about 100 and something hours a week. Like, dude, what do you got going on? I know you got a couple movies coming up. I mean, you just nonstop working. But I look up, you got this special, that special. You got products, you got endorsements, you got TV show. I mean, when do you sleep well? What do you got going on?
I don't sleep too much. I'm on Amazon Prime. My show Harlem's on Amazon Prime right now. It's incredible. I got a film coming out called Sweetwater. It comes out April 14th, so that's in like 2 weeks. and it's about the first Black NBA player, basically the Jackie Robinson of the great story. About Nate Sweetwater Clifton, who's monumental in, but it's just history, also Black history. And then I just finished another movie called New Horizons, another Army movie, and then I'm starting a movie called Blood Bond in like a week and a half.
Wow, dude! I mean, and so like when you typically take breaks, are you just project after project after project? I mean, is that kind of what's going on right now in your world?
I came from the pedigree of like Sam Jackson. So like when Sam was doing like Coach Carter, he had like 5 movies lined up after. And I was like, that's the kind of person that I want to be. I want to be in your living room.
Wow.
And my boy Chris Carter, he played for the Steelers. He told me the other day, he was like, bro, every time I turn the television on, I see you. That's where I want to be. I want to be like, listen, impacting culture, entertaining people, spending time with people, and being on the television.
Wow, let me ask you this, man. You started as a young person. I mean, obviously, all my daughters, all my kids. I mean, I remember when we had you guys over at the house and all that stuff, and people just losing their minds. I mean, a lot of child stars don't take off and have the incredible career you've had. How have you maintained it, and how have you maintained? And I don't want to sound funny, but I posted the pictures all in our group. How do you maintain that body, bro? Like, what are you doing? You're like a workout freak. I mean, what do you do with your life to look that way? You look like you're still in your 20s.
What Jay-Z said, treat your last like your first and your first like your last, right? Wow. I'm still hungry, bro. I love what I do and I'm passionate about it. And I'm not doing it for the reward. I'm doing it because it's what I love to do. And I like being a leader, like being an example, like showing people like, hey, I'm inspired by what you're doing. I see that it is possible to be diligent, to be determined, to be disciplined, and, eat my vegetables. I have my social health initiative, Highway Fit. It's got millions of views on YouTube. And, when I walk through, like, crowds, airports, any place that's got public space, I'm there to give love. I love people, man. And so, anyone comes up to me, they're like, listen, I want a hug. I want a picture. I want to hang out with you. This is what I do.
I mean, you're definitely one of the real ones, and I think when I first started hanging out with you guys, you, Antoine Tanner, Robert Ri'chard, with Khalil Kane, all you guys, it was so humbling because even though I met celebrities throughout my life in various events and I played in different games, you were just a different breed, and you guys really allow people to understand that you're just people doing extraordinary things, but you guys don't act outside the box. I mean, like I said, just like going to popcorn, you just like everybody else, just doing extraordinary things with your life. So I definitely appreciate you. One of the things I want to talk about is how did you, a couple last things, how did you get started in acting? Because I read your story, bro. You were like a young dude caught up in the streets. You were caught up in the streets. You had friends that were all gang members. And I remember one time I looked at your story and you said you were running from like maybe an opposite gang member, and you came upon an acting school, like by crazy circumstance. Is that how you got started?
That's exactly how I started, man. I was in the city. I was, in the life, man. You know what I'm saying? Growing up in South Central and in the 90s, it was legit. It was real. And you could not, every night, gunshots, ghetto birds. Yep. I was actually talking to everybody at USC today about that, just being like, I grew up on 10th Ave and 48th. Wow. And on my block, everyone was getting Uzis, M16s, pistol grip, pump on my lap at all time. Yep. That was my life. And at the same time, I still have the athlete mindset of being like, if I use my athletics, I can get out of this situation. I can see more.
That's right.
And, walking home and just opposition or whatever, I was outnumbered, and I was like, listen, today I'm not going to fight. Today I'm not going to sit here and try and just outnumber somebody who obviously clearly is like. So I dipped into a building, and it happened to be an acting school. It's called Faith Acting Studio. It was like a God-based, faith-based acting school. And I was just in there stalling. I was just in there like, oh, what do you guys do here? Can I spend like, a good 30 minutes, 45 minutes until everything cools off outside? And obviously, just having pretty girls there was the first attraction. And second thing, I'm like, listen, everybody in the neighborhood is here. So I started to go, and at first I didn't even really participate. I was kind of like the cool kid in the back, just like, I had not much to say. And then someone asked me if I was scared of acting. And that was when that really set me off. I'm like, scared. I'm not scared of shit.
You're scared of nothing. Yeah, how the heck can I be scared?
I'm the best actor you've ever seen before. And that was really what set me off.
Dang, that's crazy. And you know, it's crazy because you said in the '90s, which was it was bananas. Even I'm older than you. I've got you probably at least by like 10 years or so. And it's crazy because I know that that's back when they had the blood and colors. You couldn't walk down the street with the wrong colors on. You can, and you were a teenager in the midst of all that crap, and it was scary even for people like me. Like it was like funny. Like me and my wife would go to restaurants right now, Robert, and she wants to know why I won't sit with my back to the door. And I'm like, that's just that 80s, 90s mentality. Like you never turned your back on anyone. You never knew what was coming. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. You know, I moved out here to California, and it was bananas out here. You know.
It was a wild west, man. Constant grace of God, you know, Miss Hannah, my teacher when I was a kid, she said, "Be careful, you're gonna end up a statistic."
Wow.
And that was a really kind of like changed my mindset. I was like, damn, I'm gonna be a black man in America and be a statistic. I don't want to be that. And that's when I really started to like cultivate my mind and start thinking about what is it that is my actual goals, what is it that I want to succeed at, and then assigning myself that stuff and being like, I'm going for it.
Wow, that's crazy. I mean, yeah, you definitely are a tremendous success story, man. You continue to go out there and do great things. I appreciate you giving me some of your time. I know you got so much going on. Even when I was asking, I said, "Hey, Rob, would you come on the show?" You like, Jay, anything for you, brother. You said, but if I'm gonna do it, I got this gap because I got all this going on until 3 hours of the day. I'm like. So last thing I want to ask you about, brother, is our brother Coolio that passed on us, obviously. And I know he was a big fan of yours. He did nothing but talk about you in an amazing way and how you guys with the future and stuff like that. So definitely your relationship with Coolio, if you don't mind saying a couple things about Coolio.
Yeah, I mean, Coolio was very, very accessible for me. Like, he was a smart, mindful person. And although he had, like, I mean, obviously a juggernaut of a career and had, like, the pulse of, like, the industry at one point, he always, like, we sat, we played chess, we talked, and, you know, he's a big brother to me. You know, I always had my dad, but I looked at Coolio as somebody who was a sound mind, and be like, listen, you need to focus on what you're passionate about and go for that with all of your might. So that's like one of the things that I actually really was like having someone in the industry who understood, like, listen, you pursue this like a sport. You pursue this like basketball. You pursue this like how you see baseball or football.
That's right.
And make it something that you care about and go for it and win.
That's right. And you know, so crazy. I shared this with Antoine, and he remembered it. I'm going to see if you remember. Remember when I picked you guys up from the airport? I had that brand new Navigator with all the lights and beats and all that stuff and the 24s. And Coolio, you guys all paused in, and Coolio sat on the back of the speaker box because there wasn't enough room. And we started talking about it. We were all talking about a bunch of stuff. And then I talked about a movie that I wrote. It's called Hypnotize. And I remember Coolio telling everybody in the truck to hush. He said, hold on, what you talking about? So I told him what the movie idea was. This dude, after the celebrity game, had me break it down to him. He said, Jay, I'm going to have someone from Hollywood call you. I'm like, all right, whatever, man. Cool. I appreciate you looking out. I didn't realize at the time that Coolio had a brother in Fresno. And so he actually got my number. And then about so many months later, like a few months later, I get a phone call from this guy, and he goes, I get a phone call, and it's a restricted number, and it's like, yo, Jay, what's up, man? He goes, this is Coolio. I said, what's up, man? He goes, no, tell me you didn't sell that damn movie. I said, what? He said, tell me you didn't sell the damn movie. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, bro, no, it's on my laptop. He goes, oh man, I thought someone sold Shaquille O'Neal a movie, a basketball movie, out of Bakersfield. I said, bro, I'm in Fresno. So he had called me from taking a bubble bath while he was smoking a stogie or something. I said, bro, why are you, first of all, he goes, I said, what are you doing? He said, I'm in a bathtub taking a bubble bath. I said, why the hell are you calling another black man while you're taking a bubble bath? It was just a funny moment. It was hilarious, bro. But the crazy thing about it, Robert, is about a month later, a director from Hollywood called me and told me to get the movie together. Now, at that time, I had a lot going on in business. I couldn't do it. I still got the movie sitting on my laptop. The point I'm trying to make is he actually followed through with his word. He had somebody call me. And even though I didn't follow up, and how could I didn't know anybody writing a script? I didn't know nothing about that. I still got it, the ideas on my laptop. I just didn't know how to proceed with it. But it just talks about his integrity and what he meant to me, because that to me went a long ways. That he would remember me, he would call me, and he would go out there and do that. So yeah, just kudos to Coolio, man, for sure.
He's a great listener, man, and that's the power in a man. If you're a good listener, you can hear people out and hear their ideas. It's hard to like figuring out how to assemble it. That's what the greatest people in the world do.
Yeah, and that's what he's gonna be remembered for. So that was a tragic loss just some months ago, man. And I know you had a lot of love for him, as did I, man. So yeah, definitely a tragic loss. So man, I appreciate you. I know my family loves you. My wife Jeanette and my kids are all on the live here. We've got over 100 and some odd people here. Praise you. Much love. You're a mega star. Love watching you. You're the man. Yeah, you got a lot of love here, man. A lot of people. A lot of people got a lot of love for you.
You've been a leader to me, man. I love you, James. You're a great guy.
Hey, man, say hello to the family. I love you, brother, for being on here. Let's make sure we hook up. And when we have a movie premiere, do me a favor. Can you invite me and the wife, and we'll fly out and take part?
I love it. I'll do it, man.
All right, my brother.
We got one
Much love.
coming out. Sweetwater will be out April 14th.
Come on, man. You know I play pro ball now. I got to be at that one, so let me know. I'll get